Okay, so as many of you know, today's webinar will be on COVID-19 tracking apps. And just the main purpose of this presentation is to stay safe during the pandemic. And it's been a while since we've started the pandemic, but it's still going, so we need to make sure we're educated on how to stay safe and ways that we can help each other. So first, I will be going over what this presentation covers. I'll start by explaining the benefits of COVID-19 tracking apps. Then the negative aspects of the tracking apps as well, followed by how to stay safe from dangerous and fake apps, how tracking apps actually work and the ideas behind the ways that it functions. Then I will move on to the available COVID-19 tracking apps. So that's for Canada and US. And then as well at the end, I will mention some other COVID-19 helpful resources. So first off, what are the benefits of COVID-19 tracking apps? They are very helpful for personal and public safety. By having these apps, it helps to break the cycle of infection and slow the spread of the virus. It also lets people know of possible exposures before symptoms appear, and we give it to other people. The apps allow us to take care of ourselves as well as others in the community. And it also helps people become more aware of the virus that's around them and really grasp how it's going and what's going on in their community, as well as overall in different areas. And lastly, it can help to protect vulnerable citizens, which is very important. So with all the benefits that there are about these tracking apps, there are also for sure some negative aspects. First is that these apps may not be completely accurate. This is because they are based off of only known cases, and all the cases of COVID that have already happened, as well as are happening right now, are not necessarily recorded. In some cases, there are false positives or self-diagnoses. So it's also important to think about the people who are using the apps. Some of the apps do not require you to have an actual diagnosis from a doctor or a health professional. So it's important to know that there could be some self-diagnoses. And as well, there's always a chance of having false positives with the testing of the virus. Also, not everybody uses and has these tracking apps. So if people don't have them, then if they do have COVID, they're not recording the information using the apps, and other people are not able to access it. As well, not everybody who has tested positive uses the app. And there's also a fear of privacy concerns. This is because some apps do have issues regarding privacy. As well, the recommended apps are safe and have minimal risks. So it's important to think about which apps are recommended by who, and just to always remember that everything does have risks, no matter what you're doing with technology. Next is some tracking app security issues. There are some fake COVID-19 tracking apps that are very unsafe to use. After apps were first created to track and help with the virus, bogus apps have been designed to trick users into downloading malicious software. There have already been many cases of actual apps being created where multiple people, are tricked into using them. And many of the fake apps are very convincing and seem extremely real. The apps that are being created are downloaded by design professionals who are very good at making it look real, so it's very important to be aware of what apps you're using. So with all of these dangers out there with these apps, how can you avoid getting issues with them? Well, first, you should always be aware that apps can be fake. Look very carefully before downloading any app or software onto your device. Ensure that your device is backed up and its settings is updated. Next, make sure you are aware of what personal information you are giving. So if the app is asking you for a lot of information that you don't feel is necessary, such as your name or your address or your email, or anything that you just feel like is more than it should be required, just make sure that the app is actually a real app. And lastly, only install apps from credible and authoritative sources, such as the government or public health in trusted app stores as well. Now I will move into more about how do tracking apps actually work. So each app works in a different way, though there are some main similarities between the design of each app. Most COVID-19 tracking apps right now are working via Bluetooth. For most of these apps, when you are in Bluetooth range, 2 to 3 meters of another person's device, there is actually a chance of the virus being transmitted. Because of this, if the person nearby has recorded a positive case in the app, you will get a notification on your phone. So it works with the distance that you can actually most likely get the virus from. And now some other app information. Some apps allow you to even track symptoms and aid in tracking isolation days. So some apps have more features than others, and it really depends on which app you're using. As well, some apps record personal information, while others are more anonymous. As I mentioned before, always be careful about what information you are giving. Make sure the app is reliable and real to protect yourself. Now I will be moving on to the available COVID-19 tracking apps. And first, I will be talking about the ones in Canada. So the top recommended app is called COVID Alert. And if you're interested in learning more and going to the website that's actually about COVID Alert, you can click on the underlined COVID Alert once you get the copy of the slides from Macaulay, and you can go onto the website. So by clicking that underlined word right here, you can get to more information as well. So this Canadian app was created by the Government of Canada, which makes it very reliable and very safe. It has no way of knowing your location, your name, address, or health information. So this specific app is really focused on keeping people comfortable with their privacy and not letting any information be given. This particular app uses Bluetooth and sends notifications if you have been exposed. So this icon just to the right is what the app actually looks like. More information about COVID Alert. So it is only available to report a diagnosis in New Brunswick, Ontario, Saskatchewan, or Newfoundland and Labrador. So in the other provinces and territories, you can't actually report a case. It hasn't gotten that function yet. But even in provinces that you aren't able to report in, the app is very helpful because it helps you to know if you have been exposed by somebody from another province that can report. So say if somebody was traveling or they're in your province, but they had already reported it, then you'll know, even though you're in the province without the reporting abilities. Next are the available COVID-19 tracking apps in the US. So US apps are released by the state's Department of Health, and because there are so many states in the US, it's hard to just pinpoint one particular app, but I will also, after this slide, be talking about a website that you can use. So to find more information for your particular state, you can go to your verified state health website, and it will let you know about the app and which one is recommended to use, because I don't want to recommend something that isn't best for where you are. And as I mentioned before, there isn't just one specific app. It's easier to just do it by state and see what your state is telling you to do. So some other COVID-19 resources that are very helpful as well. Verified local and global authority social media accounts, such as Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. So say a public health unit has a Twitter account and they're just reminding you about social distancing or giving you an update about what's going on. It's good to stay informed. And as well with that is reliable television and radio news channels that you can either watch or listen to, just so that you know what's going on around you and you can really be educated. And as I mentioned before, there are some websites that are very important and that you should know about. So the first one is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So this one is good for the US. It helps and gives information about wearing a mask, symptoms and testing, travel information, US statistics, schools, and the vulnerable population. And I will be going over both of these websites in the short live demonstration after. The next website is the Government of Canada, if you live in Canada. So this is a really great website because it gives you a wide range of information and awareness resources. So it helps with prevention and risks. It gives information on Canada's plan, outbreaks, symptoms, and also travel guidelines. So now I will be moving into the live demonstration. And first, I will just be talking about the websites that I just mentioned on this slide. And then I'll also be doing the COVID alert app on my phone. So first is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website I was talking about, which is great for the US. So when you click on the link, it'll take you right to this page, and you can just see some first information that comes up. So you can see tips on wearing a mask and how to protect yourself. And as well, you can change the language if you'd like it to be in a different language. If you scroll down, you can continue to see more information about COVID-19. You can look at symptoms, self-check symptoms, which is a way to see yourself if you should go get a test or just to make sure that you're doing all right. And then it gives you information on when to get tested so that you know what to do and you know when it's the right time to do so. It then tells you to stay home if you're sick. And if you are sick, it gives you some information of what to do. It also tells you when to quarantine and when you can be around others. So this website isn't a replacement for any health professional or anything like that, but it's a great place to get resources about the virus. And you should always talk to your doctor or another medical professional about any concerns you have. Then this is a very great section of the website. It's where you can see US data, county data, and as well testing data. And then you can go to this section on COVID data tracker. And then you can see a lot more information about different states, and you can see in the state that you're in as well as others. And just by putting your mouse over top of a state, you can just see some information. Some don't have all the information, but others do. And if you go back to the main page, you can just see a bit more information about travel, such as what it's like traveling during the pandemic, the risks, and then running errands in daily life. And then below at the bottom, you can see a bit more about schools, people at increased risk, children and young adults, and caring for someone sick. So this section is really good for learning more about interactions with others during the pandemic and really what's the plan and what to do. And then just here, there's some more healthcare and public health resources and some communities and organizations. So that is a good overview of the US Centers for Disease and Control Prevention website. So next, I will just be going over the Canadian government website for COVID-19. So once you go onto the link, it'll just take you straight here. And initially, you will be it'll be bolded, the awareness resources. But you can also see outbreak updates, measures to reduce COVID-19, travel restrictions, exemptions, and advice, symptoms and treatment for healthcare professionals, awareness resources, prevention and risks, what Canada's response is, as well as guidance documents. So it's a very well informed site that you can go to really find most information that there is about the pandemic. And there's even resources that you can listen to. And it's a great place to learn more if you feel like you need to be more educated. And if you have a specific need or you want information about a specific thing, these topics are a very good place to go to. So next, I will just be doing a short demonstration on actually getting the COVID alert app on my phone. So I'll just get my phone to share. So to get the app, you're going to want to go into the App Store for an iPhone, if not the Play Store if you're on a different device. And you're just going to search up COVID Alert. So it will be the first one that comes up because it is a verified app from the government. And you're just going to click Get. It is a free app. I've already gotten it before, so I'm just going to click the cloud to download it. And once it's downloaded, I can go into the app. And this is the first screen that's going to come up. So you can either choose English or French because there's 2 languages in Canada, and I'm going to choose English. And there's just a few short steps that come up initially when you first get the app. So first, it's just talking about stopping the spread of COVID-19 and how COVID Alert helps to break the cycle of infection. And then it just really tells you that it's important to take care of yourself and the community. And many of these steps I did briefly include in the presentation. Next, it assures you that your privacy is protected. So COVID Alert does not use GPS or track your location, which is really good for a lot of people. It puts them at ease. It makes them feel a lot better about using it. And then it also has no way of knowing your location, your name or address, your phone's contacts, your health information, or the health information of anyone you're near. So it is a very user-friendly and safe app to use, and it just tells you everything that you'll be safe from. How it works. Next, the app will briefly describe how it works, and it uses Bluetooth to exchange random codes with nearby phones. Every day, it checks a list of random codes from people who tell the app that they have tested positive. If you've had close contact with one of those people in the past 14 days, you will get a notification. And if you want to learn more about how it works, you can just click this arrow there and then click close if you're not interested. Next, it just explains that this app is only one part of public health and that COVID Alert does not replace any public health guidelines or medical advice. So if you are sick, you need to contact a doctor. This app is simply to help others around you and give people a better idea of the virus. The next section is the app will now ask for your permission. So you just need to allow the app to start logging random codes or random IDs when you're near other phones. The app will access the date and duration as well as signal strength related to the random codes, but they will never leave your phone. So these random codes are used when you're near other phones, and it decides how strong it is, which is how close you are to other people, and then it will give you a notification if you are near somebody else who has tested positive. And when I click this next slide, it will need me to allow notifications so that I can use the app to its most uses. So this little question is just asking me to say yes to logging and notifications so that I can use the app. So I'm going to click enable. And this section is optional. So it's not asking you what your province or territory is because it's taking your location. It's simply asking so that they have a better idea of where the users are, as well as it'll let you log a case if you have tested positive. So I'm going to click on Ontario and then click done. And finally, just allow COVID alert to send you notifications. And if you do click don't allow and you change your mind later on, you will also be able to change it in the settings. But I'm going to allow notifications. So this is really just the main screen of the app. And it's just telling me that I'm all set to use the app and that my phone is running Bluetooth to collect codes from nearby phones. So it's simply telling me that the app is working and it's all ready to go for when I go near other people. The other part of the app is this more of an information section. So here, by clicking this blue button, I will be able to enter my one-time key. So how this app works is that people who have tested positive will be given a key after they've been tested and they get their results. They'll be given this little code and they'll be able to type it into the app. And all that does is just confirm that they do have a positive case. So if you need a one-time key, it just tells you how to get it. So you would have gotten it by getting your test results, and you can click the Go to COVID-19 test results website if that's how you want to get your code. So I don't have a code, so I won't be able to put that in. But you can also get a one-time key from this section, takes you to the same place. Then you can, these websites, the box with the arrow coming out of it indicate that it's going to take you to another page. So this page will tell me what to do if I'm exposed, and then there's also a help page available. Next is the settings, and there's only two settings because the app does not take much personal information. So you can change your province or territory. So say if I clicked Ontario, but I either prefer not to say, which is definitely an option, or I want to actually choose Alberta. Then you can also change the language to French, if that is what you want to do. And then you can just learn more about the COVID Alert app, how it works, and then how it protects your privacy. And it'll give you the same information as you were looking at when you first got the app. So that's it for the, oh, and sorry, just to mention, because I did change my location to Alberta, it says no reporting yet in your area because it's not actually set up in Alberta, and you can only report your positive case if you're in Ontario, Newfoundland and Labrador, Saskatchewan. I think there might be one more, but you have to be in a certain area to be able to report your case. So that's the end of the presentation.